Okay, we're rolling.
Hey, hi,
Take one.
welcome to my class. This is going to be a fun class tonight. Does anybody know what we're studying? Prohibition. We're going to learn about prohibition. So it's probably been how many years, and I figured it was something that we could all relate to because we're all adults. All right, let's see. What is the amendment of the Constitution that gives us the right to drink or not drink, or what? How does it all relate? Does anybody know? What is prohibition? You can just
I have no
speak out.
idea.
Amendment 21.
Amendment 21. And what did you say? You said no idea?
Said no idea.
Okay, so we're gonna write no idea. And then we also think it's Amendment 21. Kathy?
Amendment 18.
Amendment 18. That's right. So let's look at it.
That's no fair. She got to read up on it.
Did you read up on it? How did you cheat, really? Did you saw it? You saw it somewhere?
Somewhere?
Yeah, you're funny. Okay. All right, so we're going to look at, here's the 18th Amendment. How about if I just give them all to you and you pass them down? All right, you guys want to take turns? We'll just start reading. Someone, Ross, want to start reading? The 18th Amendment.
The 18th Amendment from the United States Constitution. The U.S. Senate passed the 18th Amendment on December 18, 1917. It was ratified on January 16, 1919, after 36 states approved it. The 18th Amendment and the enforcement laws accompanying it established prohibition of alcohol in the United States. Several states already had prohibition laws before this amendment. It was eventually repealed by the 21st Amendment on December 5, 1933. It is the only amendment that has ever been completely repealed.
Section 1. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, transportation, importation, or exportation of intoxicating liquors in the United States in all its territories is hereby prohibited.
Section 2. Congress and the states shall both have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation.
Section 3. This article shall have no power unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of the states, as provided in the Constitution, within 7 years from the date of the submission to the states by the Congress.
Okay, so let's put it all into normal terms. What did we just learn? I didn't make a copy for me. Can I put you share now? Sorry. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about some vocabulary. What's to ratify? You guys, next time, we're gonna have other vocabulary words, and they're not gonna have
The definition.
definitions for you.
I know.
Okay. So to ratify, what does that mean?
Is to confirm or pass something, such as an amendment.
Okay, so after 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, transportation, importation, or exportation of intoxicating liquors in the United States and all its territories is hereby prohibited. So we've got to ratify, right? That's a vocabulary word, so I'm going to put a check by it. An intoxicating liquor, what's that? We all know. Anybody know?
Alcohol.
Alcohol! Is there any kind of liquor that's intoxicating that's not alcohol?
Yes.
What it would be?
It elixir. I'm
An
a
elixir.
pharmacy major.
There you go, an elixir. That was a good question. I did not know that. Did you guys know that?
There's other substances that you can drink that would technically intoxicate you, but I think in layman's terms, intoxicating liquor means alcohol.
Okay. All right, so article. What is an article?
See a section of a written document.
A section or item in a written document. Okay. So until enough states ratified or accepted this amendment, it was known as an article. Did you guys know that? So that's part
It
of
was,
the book.
an article instead of an amendment.
Right, so an article is like a baby amendment. Right?
So how does an article become an amendment then? It gets approved by the House and Senate.
Good question.
Ratified by the states.
So does it ever go,
enough states.
does it ever go through the House and the Senate? Or do the states just,
Well, US Congress and the states, Congress passes the federal law, and the states have to accept it. I mean, that also has to go in front of the states, their legislatures as well. Does that answer your question?
yes.
All right, so I got a movie that I want you guys to watch. And this movie is going to talk about some of the, what happened in the Roaring '20s. Because if we looked at the dates of our prohibition started in 1917. What happened in 1917? It became an article. And then in 1919, it was passed by Congress and it became an amendment, right? Amendment 18. Okay, so let's watch this video, and it's going to take us to the time that was going on in our culture at that time. What was your question, Joe?
We were just, Kathy and I were talking about the questions at the bottom.
Okay, so let's talk about those. What is your first reaction to the 18th Amendment? What do you think about that? What would it be like if they tried to do that today?
Yeah, that's like question 2.
Well, I guess that's question 2. Question 1 is just the reaction to the amendment itself.
Kind of the same thing for me.
Well,
What do you think,
Well,
Russ?
it's hard to relate to right now.
If they came out and said no more alcohol, no more intoxicating liquors, made prohibition,
You wouldn't have a chance of getting it passed, no.
you don't think they
I
would pass
don't
it?
think so, but I think that alcohol is one of the more harmful drugs.
But what if they came out and said that? We're not gonna pass, nobody can drink.
I don't think it would pass, but I would vote for it. Just saying.
You would want it to pass?
I would, just because I know that,
It's harmful.
yeah, there's other options for drugs, like marijuana, that's now becoming illegal in other states that are not as harmful and even have medical benefits.
Okay,
And like, things like when I go to my dentist, they'll tell me, I'll ask them, because they never talk about mouthwash when I go to a dentist. And I say, should I use my mouthwash? And they'll say, only if it doesn't have alcohol in it, because alcohol, it would be daily use of this mouthwash, and that can lead to mouth and throat cancer.
interesting.
And if it got passed now, there'd just be the bootlegging like there
Right.
was before.
I guess, maybe I wouldn't vote for it then, because I did a paper on opioids and morphine being regulated as controlled substances. And 200 years ago, when they weren't regulated, society really didn't have a lot of problems. I mean, they probably weren't as educated. People didn't have as much access, so they didn't use them for recreational reasons. But I think less regulation is way better because we're losing more drugs.
All right, so Russ, do you think that money has a part to play in us not having a prohibition in the year 2016?
With a certain part of the culture, yes.
And that would be on the form of maybe taxes? Do you think there's a large tax base from alcohol?
I think there is for all drugs, illegal and legal.
So why do you think some Americans in 1918 might have wanted this amendment?
They were against drinking.
So they were, but why? Okay, so that's one reason. What's another reason?
Some of it was religious, in my
Okay, so religion, yeah.
belief.
Okay, so it was bad. It was working the devil, sure. Yep, and then anything else? Any other reasons why someone from 1918 might have wanted this amendment? Any other ideas?
Well, operating machinery, driving, it's a hazard.
Sure. It makes people, what about broken families, and it's an addictive substance, and how it affected our culture, the family and our society, right?
In 1980, you're talking about.
Right.
I think it's just like every other drug, and people can't control, they can't take it in moderation.
It's an addictive
And any type
substance.
of habitual substance that's harmful,
Sure.
even if it's not harmful directly, people have issues with using moderation.
Okay, let's go to Roy Haynes.
I'm there.
American-
24 years?
Did
No,
Americans
14
even,
years.
did Americans even want? When, in school, when I learned about prohibition, I never learned really that Americans ever wanted it. It was all the government for money.
Can you hear that?
They regulate, that's what I learned.
Can you hear that? They turn it up.
It's as high as it goes.
Can you hear that, Russ? We're gonna put some speakers on it. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and move on to the next topic.
Well, the volume on YouTube isn't all the way up.
Yeah.
It's not all the way up. Is that better?
Better.
Ross, we got, YouTube wasn't up. We can use it now. Thank you.
Think about like the Wild West. Everybody got out, way out of control.
Everything was out of control.
Today's headlines tell a harrowing story of a world gone mad. As I read these headlines, I sometimes wonder how many people recall another astounding era in our recent history, ushered in by a similar period in world history. It was a dangerous, lawless, high-tension era that will grow more and more incredible with each passing year, until someday people will say it never could have happened at all. At the time, I was writing a column for a New York newspaper, so I covered the most fantastic episode in American history, the Roaring Twenties. Now, those amazing days are repeated. Warner Brothers' vivid picturization of that dynamic period. In 1920, Prohibition arrived, and a country just recovering from the mortgages fell into a new delirium. The bootleggers sprang into being. Overnight, he switched the nation's mind from battles to bottles. An invasion of the law became the new national pastime. College students, yes, even high school kids and fathers, joined the mad party, and the jazz age was born. Suddenly, frenzy reached Wall Street, and the stock market toiled to dizzy heights. Billionaires bloomed at every stage door. The nightclubs were packed with delirious, free-spending thrill of it. Money poured into the commerce of the underworld, to be poured over and stained with blood. Hijacking on the high seas became daily front-page news. Against the seething background, Warner Brothers cast magnifying James Canyon as a reckless leader of gangland. Priscilla Lane, the nightclub singer whose destiny he controls. Humphrey Bogart, his candy's ruthless intelligence. Gladys George is a famous queen of the hotspots. Jeffrey Lynn is the cover-up man.
Good, how are you? Good, buddy. I should have stopped normally think of me described good enough, honestly. You better not. You don't like the record I made, you don't like people I know, the things I do. It's not me, it's where I stand for, all right? And I want to distinguish between you and me. When I come to the bridge, all you gotta do is ask. Yeah, but I don't steal it. What's this kid got? Oh, I don't know. Whatever it takes to get a guy like me, he's got.
That's not really pleasant. You used to travel around with them. Exactly.
It had to be. It had to be. I wanted around, finally found somebody who would make
You two guys think you're pretty cute. You listen to me. You took out the feds I was running in alone last night, and they took it away from me. And you lifted it from them. Good, don't have to be that. Means a lot of noise when you spaghetti, too. You're cute. I'm cute.
the movie.
I
Okay, so what does that tell us about the culture? Let's talk about some of the things that we saw there. What are some
Gangsters.
gangsters? What were the gangsters from? Why did we have gangsters? Do we have gangsters today?
Yes.
They have such a big influence in our society as they did then?
In certain parts.
Probably it just isn't quite as open as it was then.
Okay, so then if nobody knows about it, is it as big as that influence?
Yes.
do. In a big area.
Certain areas.
Right. Okay, so there is gang problems. So maybe they had gangsters in Chicago, but they didn't have in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Nowadays they call them drug lords.
Okay. So the gangsters, what's the difference between a gangster and a drug lord?
Drug lords distribute drugs simply for profit. I think gangs are a form of unity for certain cultures.
Gangs are different than gangsters. Two different,
Like Al Capone, for instance, as being a
two parts of
gangster.
our culture. They're very different.
He was a leader of,
The drug lords more focus on just drugs, whereas the gangsters that get into prostitution and a lot of other things.
Black market, racketeering, gambling, alcohol. Al Capone is one of the most famous gangsters in our culture. And what was he famous for? How did he get his money?
alcohol.
Alcohol, prohibition, running prohibition.
Then he also intoxicated.
That's what they ended up getting him for, because they couldn't catch him for for running alcohol. Tennessee, they had what's called ridge runners. In southern parts of the states where they were prolific corn growers, they could use that and make whiskey and moonshine out of that corn. So they would run it at night during Prohibition, and they called those ridge runners, because in Tennessee they were famous for getting that, in Kentucky, for getting that corn mash and making moonshine and whiskey to put on the black market. All right, so now let's go into, we're going to talk about prohibition and health. Did you guys share again? All right. Alcohol poisoning. What does that mean? What does that tell us? What is it when I say alcohol poisoning? Anybody?
Makes you sick?
Too much. I mean, overdose, if you
Overdose,
will.
Right, you're poisoned. It's bad. It's bad. Right? Okay. Do you want to start off, Kat, and read Prohibition Document A?
Alcohol poisons and kills. Abstinence and prohibition save lives and safeguard health.
Should I read the next paragraph?
Sure.
Dr. S.S. Goldwater, formerly Health Commissioner of New York City, stated the decision of science, final opinion of our nation after 100 years of education upon the subject of alcohol.
It is believed that less consumption of alcohol by the community would mean less tuberculosis, less poverty, less dependency, less pressure on our hospitals, asylums, and jails.
Alcohol hurts the tone of the muscles and lessens the product of laborers. It worsens the skills and endurances of artists. It hurts memory, increases industrial accidents, causes disease of the heart, liver, stomach, and kidneys, increases the death rate from pneumonia, and lessens the body's natural immunity to disease.
Justin Harlan, speaking for the United States Supreme Court, said, "We cannot shut out of view the fact that public health and public safety may be harmed by the general use of alcohol." All right, now this came during the 8th annual meeting of the National Temperance Council, Washington, D.C. on September 20th, 1920. The National Temperance Council was created in 1913 to work for prohibition. So, what year did prohibition get ratified and passed by Congress? 1917 and 1919 it was ratified. But this document that we're looking at was 1920, so there's still a big push at the time. Document A, this was published in the 8th annual meeting of the National Temperance Council. All right, so we learned 2 more words to put into our vocabulary list. And the first one was abstinence. Can anybody tell me what that means? Without cheating and looking.
Stay away from,
Stay away.
To withhold.
not.
Has the word absent. Say it again.
To withhold.
To withhold. Very good. All right, and we also talked about consumption. What does that word mean in our English vocabulary?
Ingesting.
Huh?
Ingesting.
It could be absolutely ingesting.
What does
Eating and
ingesting
drinking.
mean?
I mean, that's a good question because an
No, how about
EL student-
ingesting?
Exactly. An ELL student might not know that, so very good. That's a good question. So this is a document that was made popular during the time of Prohibition to stop it, okay? Do any of you have experience with people that have experienced anything that they listed here in this flyer? Alcohol hurts the tone of the muscles and lessens the product of labor.
I believe all of this. I mean, I'm not sure, like, I don't know, tuberculosis these days, but maybe.
I don't think. I think consuming the alcohol like may have these effects on your body, but what's the behavior behind it? Why do people feel the need to drink alcohol in the first place?
Okay, so that's a whole nother set of questions, absolutely.
And this doesn't just, it's not just, alcohol might have been the problem there because, or at that time, because so many people had access to it. But if they had access to other drugs, they would have just bounced to another drug.
That's right, they didn't have a minimum drinking age,
So
did they?
what's the reason for even consuming in the first place? It's something behavioral.
Well, according to the Roaring Twenties, it was part of the culture, it's just something you did. You have, even now, when you have friends over, you go get a bottle of wine and you crack open a bottle of wine. I know a lot of people do.
Okay, so
Kathy and
then
I've done that, you know, that's just something that's kind of expected. You go to someone's house because you've been invited, you take a bottle of wine.
but if no one was drinking, would you still do it?
I don't know, but I'm just saying our culture is geared toward, you know, it's a good
So
question
it's
too.
a form of acceptance then.
Absolutely, everybody drinks.
So that's the behavior behind it, is to be accepted.
Well, it just, well, maybe, it could be. Other people, why do they drink? What's an obvious reason? Why do people
I'm not sure
drink?
what you're asking.
Alcoholism,
To get drunk,
to get drunk,
to, yeah.
self.
I think a lot of it's because they've been told that it's harmful, you shouldn't do it, therefore they're going to.
That's reverse psychology.
Right.
That's a true statement for society, isn't it? Can you think of anything else like that as an example?
Pretty much anything they make a law against, it's
And people wanna do it.
saying that somebody under 18 can't drink or can't smoke, and that makes them want to try.
There you go. All right. So, that's document A. Now, here's a case. Let's talk about this one. All right, this is called the Hooch murder. What does hooch mean to you guys when I say the word hooch?
Homemade alcohol?
Hooch, homemade alcohol. Joey, have you ever heard it called that?
Yeah, I would consider it illegal alcohol. Anything not just, because you have to be licensed. I mean, outside of this prohibition era, you have to be licensed to distribute alcohol. So without a license, you made it homemade, it would be illegal.
All right, and then another word here is alien. That's one of our vocabulary words. What does that mean?
Non-US citizen.
Not a U.S. citizen. So what's another alien?
ET.
From another country, extraterrestrial, from Mars, a Martian. What's another alien? Another use of the word alien. What about illegal alien? What about it's an alien language?
Unknown.
Unknown. There you go.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. All right, so illegal alien could be a foreigner, right? Or an alien isn't a foreigner, is it?
Could be a foreigner.
Could be a foreigner. Okay, so let's start off. Kathy, do you want to start? You can just read this whole bill if you'd like. This was
Okay.
1922, the New York Times.
William H. Anderson, State Superintendent of the Anti-Saloon League, announced in a statement yesterday that the organization would sponsor a measure at the upcoming state legislature. The measure would be known as the Hooch Murder Bill. It says a person can be tried for murder and punished accordingly if they are suspected of selling alcohol that resulted in the death of the person drinking it. Commenting on the measure, Mr. Anderson said, "This bill is intended for whoever it may hit, but it is especially directed at the immoral foreigner, usually an alien, who has largely stopped killing with a knife from hate or with a gun for hire and has gone into the preparation and thoughtless selling of poison for profit."
And what were they talking about?
Selling alcohol.
I don't see where alcohol was in, or it is one time, it's selling alcohol that resulted in the death of the person drinking it.
You know, alcohol does have, there is one good thing about it in moderation. It improves your cardiovascular health. It helps dilate your blood vessels and promotes blood flow. But then again, you drink in moderation. That'd be like having a glass of wine every day.
So back in the day of the, this was in 1922, and that's when Prohibition, this is one of the documents that they were set out and put out in Congress. Did it ever get ratified, or does anyone know? Nope.
It said it's
It
a draft.
Yep, he did, it was an anti-saloon. This guy was against, his Bill Anderson was against the anti-saloons, very against them. So he was in charge of this program called, he was the head of the anti-saloon movement. And so he wanted anyone that got drunk and died, killed someone, as a result of their drinking alcohol. Well, the person that sold them that alcohol was on the hook as well as the person. They never got, it was, yeah. So I don't hear about it. It was a pretty big movement during that time. Okay, now I'm going to pass out some documents. These are samples of posters that from the time. And you guys can take these, and I want you to talk about all the things that you can see in these two. I'll give you a pencil and a piece of paper, and I want you to take about 5 minutes and discuss between you in groups. You and Ross and Russ can go together here. And I want you to write out on the back of one of your documents, what you think these posters, look, I'm going to give you some ideas here. Let's talk about these just a minute here. Almost done. Okay, so we want to look at the date of the posters. We want to look at the publishers. We also want to, they're going to list 2 reasons why Prohibition was a good idea. So if you can find those 2 reasons and come together as a group, Kathy and Joe, and switch over and you'll be in a group and you 2 will be in a group. And I want you to find the date, the publisher, and 2 reasons that those posters say that Prohibition is a good idea.
Well, it looks like it's really tiny writing. I don't know what a very temperate family is.
It says what temper it is on here. Temperate.
Well, here, come up with the date. Both of you have this date on us,
Oh, yeah.
Russ? both of them have this date on, issuing publishing company. You seen the other date?
It's getting better.
Nope.
Okay, so that's the first thing she wants.
Yeah, there's the dates, I circled the dates.
So the date is 1913, publisher.
Scientific Temperance Foundation. Both of them.
This was actually published before. So before prohibition, this was getting people to vote in favor of.
So two reasons why prohibition is good. Here it looks, on this one here, less birth defects.
Alcohol is,
You read it?
I have a question.
what was the question?
What are we supposed to be approving the warrant, Joe? We say the
Read
date.
two reasons, date and the publisher,
Yep.
and the two reasons why these posters suggest that prohibition is a good thing.
Okay. Why people should be in favor.
Yeah, and you guys should work together in a group, and you two should work together.
So
But it's the same,
it shows.
yeah, huge percentage of
What that's children.
children in, yeah, children in mortality or children.
So sugar and this stuff. That was allowed.
Basically stemming it off and all this, saying that
Same on
keeps the parents from moving it down.
Right. Children's birth rates are spoiled.
both of these were published before.
75% cases.
They're both the same.
Okay? We're done.
And on this one, we have died in infancy, we have 5 times what he wants to drink. Some of these aren't quite the same.
So it says.
See, this is
not
like
about
brick-
A fifth of the ones
Right,
are normal.
yeah.
So we can get second reason.
So birth defects and deaths.
Yeah. Problems with their, them physically
Do you think
increased
two reasons for
approximately 5
poster or?
times.
No, just two reasons total.
Okay, so we got to do that actually. It's the same thing, it's just redundant. It's just this is easier.
Just that this was, yeah, it's bigger writing.
Okay?
Under the, parents' obligations. This one is more about telling parents you're obligated to take care of your children.
All right, so let's talk about this. What were the date of these posters?
1913.
All in 1913. Who published them?
American Issue Publishing Company in Westerville, Ohio.
Both, both of the posters?
Well, I wrote Scientific Temperance in American Issue Public.
Oh,
Publishing.
one of each.
Well,
Okay.
it says copyright, but then publishing the poster itself.
Copyrights of Scientific Temperance Federation and both of them.
Yep, and then American Issue Publishing Company, Westerville, Ohio, for going online.
That's-
Are they both for the same temperance outfit?
Both of them are the, the American issue publishing, you just a printer.
So the Scientific
Scientific
Temperance
Temperance
Federation.
owns the rights to them.
Okay. So these posters are samples of what you would see if you had lived during that time, and this is why. So what are two reasons? Ross, can you give us one reason? What was one reason you came up with?
Well, one reason that prohibition was supposedly good was there was less birth defects and less deaths.
Because of low alcohol.
Drinking caused 5 times more problems
Okay,
in children, in births of children and when they raise the children.
okay, and what was the second one? Russ?
The second one states that 75% of the children are affected by the use of alcohol.
Okay, so by not having that, you've got 75% more healthy.
Right.
Okay. Joe, what was one of yours?
We basically have the same deficit of adolescent lives in intemperate or drinking families.
And then Kathy, what was the other one?
Deficiency, deformity is more prevalent in intemperate families.
And now that we have, prohibition is ended and we drink, we have these problems.
Yes.
So they were right, weren't they?
They still
The
recommend
statistics may
that
be-
pregnant mothers do not drink during pregnancy.
Sure.
Same thing as
Okay. Do you still have document C?
first poster.
Document C, it says on it, document C.
Yep, that's the first poster.
Okay, and it says, look at the words used in document C. These were considered scientific categories. What does that tell you about science at this time? Because we talked about the publishers, and what was the name of the publishing? Not the American, the other part that had the copyrights.
Scientific Temperance Federation.
So what is this telling us about the science at that
It's
time?
bias.
It's biased. What, explain.
Well, the company's name has temperance in it, and temperate means to refrain from drinking alcohol.
Okay.
So they're finding data that sides with their beliefs or points.
Who's they?
This
The
company,
temperance or the scientific company?
the Scientific Temperance Federation.
Okay, so is that the same thing as saying temperance and science are together? They're allies?
That's their claim.
Is that what's going on with these posters?
They're trying
They
to,
work together?
I mean, it's the same thing as lobbying today. Lobbyists find information to their point of view.
Skew the facts
Yep.
to
Okay,
their
so-
benefit.
But what's it talking about, when we look at these and we look at the science, we compare, we think about this being a representative of the science of the day. What does that tell us back then? What were they thinking?
They're stating that the scientific data proves that drinking is causing infant mortality.
Do you think that they named themselves the Scientific Temperance Company helped their point to prove that even more? Because they have the word scientific in their name?
That's the reason scientific is there, yes.
Propaganda. Okay. All right, so using these posters, explain some of the beliefs about children that were common in the early 20th century. So if you looked at the posters and everything it said that children did, and you said the opposite, what would you be saying? So say the opposite. In other words, if it says 75% of alcohol kills kids, then now we have 75% more children alive. I don't know. See what I'm getting at? What is it saying? I'll repeat the sentence. Using these posters, explain some of the beliefs about children that were common in the early 20th century.
Well, they call them backward, idiotic, deformed.
Why? Because
Or-
they drank? These people drank, or the babies born of people that drank?
No, to me, it's just a word that was used for not normal children.
Okay,
We
but
don't
were the
use
children
those-
drinking?
The
Or
whole,
no,
the whole
but-
wording of this is completely subjective, it's not objective. Science is supposed to be objective, nothing about this is objective.
So it's all propaganda. They're trying to bend your ear, make you think, believe a certain thing. So what are they trying to get you to believe about children? If you look at these documents.
If parents didn't drink, children would be allowed to.
Okay, there you go. What else?
Smarter.
Maybe smarter.
I don't know
They
what
would-
fetus dance is.
They wouldn't
Same
have
thing.
seizures, they say they're epileptic.
Oh, so they have health, they have epilepsy, that causes, if your parents drink, you're gonna have epilepsy. Okay?
Well, they say the statistics have 25 died in infancy for drinkers versus only 5 died for non-drinkers.
Okay, so now they're saying that if the parents
So there's
drink,
5 times more deaths in
must be pregnant mothers,
of infants that the parents were alcoholics.
even
or drank
fathers.
alcohol.
So even if the father drinks, it's gonna cause a problem with the children. Is that what it's
It's
saying?
implying that, it doesn't say that.
It doesn't say
It
that.
doesn't
Okay, so
say
that's
that.
what the inference is.
Right.
It is.
It says because at the very bottom, or near the bottom, temperate parents.
Temperate
have,
families.
and alcoholic parents have. So it's implying both parents,
Okay.
not just a,
So people that supported prohibition thought it would solve a lot of society's problems,
Health
So-
problems.
health problems, okay? So using these posters, these are 2 examples, C and D, they're examples of posters. Using these posters, explain what problems they saw in society and why they thought prohibition would solve these problems.
behavior, your children are going to be well behaved or better behaved.
Joey, can you see anything in there that jumps out at you? Or Russ, or Ross?
I mean, children will have less deformities.
Okay, so they would solve that problem in society. What else would prohibition help solve in society, according to these posters?
Children would be well born, well cared for, and well trained.
Okay, so we'd be better parents.
Better parents.
Okay. Do you think these things are true today? Now, we're talking abstinence, no drinking.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Or is there a
there's a fine
difference?
line.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's okay to drink some, but not at all.
In moderation.
Okay, so according to this though, you couldn't drink at all, right?
In order to get everybody to conform, they had to make it illegal.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up the lesson with a review, okay? So, what is to ratify mean? We'll just take turns. Kathy? To approve. Joey, what's an article?
It's presented before Congress, but it has not been ratified by
Okay,
the states.
okay. Article means it has been ratified.
It has no.
No, you're right. I'm trying to get what you're saying to me. Article means it hasn't been ratified.
It's
What,
a piece of legislation before it's been ratified by the states.
what happens when it's ratified? What's it called? Okay, very good. What's abstinence mean, Russ?
Refraining from drinking.
Refraining from drinking. Russ, what's consumption?
The opposite of that,
The
to
opposite.
drink.
Good answer. What's hooch, Kathy?
Illegal alcohol.
Illegal, or what was the other term? Do you remember?
Homemade?
Instead of alcohol, it was intoxicating substances. And then what's alien mean, Joe?
Well, they depicted as someone who's immoral and doesn't belong to that area,
Okay,
so an outsider.
foreign, yeah, outsider.
That is
All right.
not true.
Yeah. Well, good, thank you guys for joining us for this lesson. That concludes it.